Welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is Annie 255. And we just finished going through the introduction and all three particle types emitters. So we went through omni, we went through directional, and we went through volume. And so there are two more. They're really not called emitters, but you can create emitters in them. You can connect emitters to them, and that is objects. You can pretty much take any object, any primitive, and I'm not going to go through all of them. So you can just create a primitive like this one here, and you can just move it up. And you can make this an emitter, the object emitter, and that has some advantages depending on the scene or the effect that you're trying to get. So they may work well for you guys. So keep that in mind while you're creating particle effects. So you can click on any polygon. You can add a particle emitter to any polygon. And so we're going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to hold down the space bar and go to IntroductionToParticles, and this time we're going to go under Legacy Particles and click on Emit from Object and click on the option box. And so within this emitter type, we're going to do surface, since that's a surface. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just keep the default attributes and click on Create. You can see we have an emitter, and we can change the particle amount. And so let's go ahead and play, and you can see the particles going up. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a gravity to this, and we're going to create a longer animation. So let's go ahead and do 300. Let's typed in 300 there to add a little bit more, and we're going to click on the particle system. We're going to hold down the space bar and go to Fields and Solvers, and we're going to add a gravity. Okay, so we need to pull those particles down. Go ahead and create that. Direction is going to be in the -1. Okay, let's go ahead and rewind and then play the animation again. There we go. So there's our animation, or our simulation, and the particles are falling down. Okay, so that's the idea behind adding a emitter to your object, and doesn't have anything to do with how many subdivisions you use. So I'm going to click on the emitter, and we're going to type in another 0 in here to make this 1,000, so you can see that we can have a lot more particles being emitted from that object, which is really, really advantageous if you're going to try to create a certain visual effect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and file and create a new scene. Okay, and this time I'm going to go ahead and create a torus. Okay, and with this torus we're going to make that change the shape a little bit so you can see some differences in the look you can get from the particle system. Okay, so I'm going to go in here to IntroductionToParticles and do the same exact thing all the way down under Legacy Particles, and we're going to go with Emit from Object again, and from Surface. Okay, we'll do one more, and of course you can experiment with all these different shapes. And so we're going to go ahead and click on that. That looks pretty good, right? And we're going to type in 300 again so we can give ourselves a little longer time. And we'll do Control A, and we're going to do 1,000 particles per second. There we go. So we can really see those. Awesome. Okay. So we're not going to get into changing anything right here, but you get the idea. So if I go ahead and stop that a minute, I can click on the object itself, the torus, and the emitter. Just go ahead and click on the torus, And I'm going to go ahead and turn the visibility to off. So you can see that the particles are still emitting, but there's nothing there, which can be advantageous too, you know, and depending on the kind of effect that you're trying to go for. So you can have the visibility on or off for that particular object, and that will also render off. Very cool. So you can do some really cool stuff. Okay. So again, we can click on the particle system and add a field if we want to, gravity field, and that way we can pull it down. Okay, so you can do some really cool effects. Okay, you can also do, if we pull it upright, let's go Control A, and we do a magnitude direction of 1 and pull it upwards. Whoops, did it work? No. Gravity direction. Let's try that one more time. There we go. I think that'll work now. There we go. So we could have a burner with flames or smoke. And what we could do with this as well is we could turn, you know, make sure the lifespan's a little bit shorter. So let's go ahead and stop that and go into the particle field and go into the particle shape 1, and let's go ahead and look at what we can do for lifespan. Again, we can do random range. We can do lifespan of something like 0.25. Random lifespan at something like 0.5. And so now you can see this could easily be a burner and a flame coming out, depending on the type of visual effects that you want to create. Alright, so that's how you can create particles on objects or emit from objects. So let's go ahead and select that, and let's go ahead and do a new scene here. One more. We got one last one to do. Well, actually two more. We can also do curves and surfaces. So if I want to do a surface, let's go ahead and do a NURBS plane. Now this will give us the exact same results that we had with the polygon. So emit from object, and again we'll just do surface again, and I'll show you how that all works. So you can see that they're all coming up. So it doesn't matter if it's a polygon or a NURBS object, they're both going to react similarly, and they're going to have the same attributes. Right. One that I think is really interesting that I've used a couple times. Let's go ahead and do File, New Scene again. There we go. Is to do a curve. So I'm going to create a let's see here, where are we? NURBS primitives, NURBS curves, curve tools. There we go. EP curve tool, and we are going to go in and create a NURBS curve. And you could write your name out if you wanted to, and have the particles follow that. With a curve, go ahead and hit enter. And you can go in here and go to control vertex and move these vertices around here, or control curves around to get the shape that you want. There we go. Okay, so there's our curve. And what we can do is go into End Particles, and with that curve selected, emit from object, and this time we're going to do curve. Okay, and there's really nothing here I want to change, so go ahead and click on Create, and now we're going to go ahead and play. Alright, so you can see that wherever the vertices are, the particles are coming out. Pretty cool. Very cool, in fact. Let me go in here and click on that and see if the... There we go. So you can see it looks really cool. Alright. So you can do it from curves too, and that really is pretty cool. And of course you can do select your particles and add a gravity field so you can start controlling them. Right now they're not really doing much. And we're going to go in the direction of Y, so we're going to go up with that. And so hopefully that'll pull the particles upright. There we go. Okay. So there's another effect that you can use, a curve or curves, to create your particle systems. And you can draw out your curve to any shape that you want, and you can have particles emit from that curve. But now you know the basics of particle systems and how to get them started. Alright, so have a great time, and I'll see you guys soon.